life is not necessarily built on parody, but there are moments. There are moments when reality, as we experience it, can be so utterly fucking bizarre. It feels like parody is coming before reality. That things can be so completely and utterly bananas and make no fucking sense. It's like it's preemptively trying to disarm people from making parody about it, especially like bad parody, like SNL or some shit like that, right? The situation we're about to talk about is so weird, and I saw it coming. Don't get me wrong, I saw this coming. It's so weird that I don't even know how you could then do a parody of it. It's like a parody of reality. It is like we are in bizarro world. Like things have inverted. Everything is upside fucking down. The very fucking concept that a sitting member of Congress in the United States, the most powerful country in the fucking world, would go on stage at a white nationalist convention. Now, what's bizarre about it is that this isn't the first time it's happened. Last year, Paul Gosar was at this convention. We'll talk about the convention in just a second. And then this year, he went back, and also so did noted vapid skin suit Marjorie Taylor Greene. And the convention that they went to was called AFPAC, AFPAC, and that's by the America First group. I don't know if the rest of the media has really started to catch on that America First has been whole cloth dominated and taken by a legit white nationalist group, because like Tucker Carlson has been talking about America First. A bunch of people have been talking about America First, and either they don't know or they don't care or they like it. I don't know. But the the opinions that are espoused by one booger eater, Nicholas J. Fuentes, are explicitly racist, like actual misogynistic, like women shouldn't vote, and it's bizarre. So without further ado, we're going to watch this first news clip about it, and then we're going to dig a little bit deeper and see what Marge has to say for herself. This is absolutely fucking bananas.
But I want to say it very clearly and very directly. I believe this election was stolen from Donald J. Trump.
I will never, ever apologize for objecting to an unconstitutional election in November of 2020.
President Trump was right. The Clintons spied on him.
They were trying to censor us, silence us, cancel us.
Is this not right? It says Marjorie Taylor Greene and Gosar attend white nationalist pro-Putin event. What the fuck? Oh, no, it's coming. Okay, here we go. Yeah, all these people are fucking lunatics. But this is what's so crazy, is if we didn't go any further than this into, like, the video that we're about to, like, the point that we're going to be watching about this video, just this, the mainstream Republican talking position, that itself is like a bizarre parody. It's so fucking weird. And still, this was CPAC this fucking year. Just a week ago? I think it was like a week ago. And they still say this shit.
Muzzle us. In fact, they had just told me that because I stood up and objected on January 6th, that I ought to be run out of the United States Senate. I've got news for you. I wasn't backing down then. I haven't changed my mind now.
Such a tough guy, that Josh Hawley. Those are the Republican stars of this weekend event known as CPAC, firmly planted in an entirely alternate universe of the big lie cult.
And they are mainstream. Make no mistake. And this is why I keep having to say things like, look, my right-wing Republican friendos, I'm really sorry. This is happening to you. I don't know. I don't know why it's happening, but it is happening, and this is unfortunately your party right now, and it sucks. It sucks. It doesn't mean you have to be bad, friendos. It doesn't mean you have to be bad. It just means that, like, now you have an example of what not to be and be better than that, okay? Because if they're not going to represent, like, sanity in your party and your positions, then it's up to you, okay? But I feel for you guys. I feel for you because this is shit.
And while the MAGA rally atmosphere has become the mainstream for the Republican Party, it's all essentially interchangeable.
Sure.
The real vanguard of the conservative movement was at a competing adjacent event. This one organized by an avowed white supremacist called the America First Political Action Conference.
Oh, yeah. There he is. There's Booger Eater Nick. Good old Booger. I would say cat boy fucker, but he's a virgin. Like he is proud of that. That's also part of their selling points is girls icky, which is very strange.
You could call it a fringe gathering, except for the fact that 2 sitting members of Congress were a part of it.
Yep.
Republicans Paul Gosar of Arizona and Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. Now listen to what Nick Fuentes, the anti-Semitic white nationalist leader of the conference, said.
Look at that photo op. Look at that photo op. Marjorie Taylor Greene shaking hands with a fucking 21-year-old dork who literally does his fucking internet show in his parents' basement. Like, literally, that is where it is. That's where his studio is. It's not me abusing the word literally. It is what it is to push white nationalist talking points. And here's the other thing, too. And this is going to make some people really uncomfortable because we had this whole line of talking back in like 2016, 2017. Well, these are just a bunch of fucking dorks in their basement. And we don't have to worry about them because they're not important. There's not a lot of them, etc., etc. Nick gets 10,000 viewers on his nightly show. I think that's the only person in politics that's bigger than that is Hassan Abi and Tim Pool. I think that's it. Like, he's huge. Huge. And none of them are like having conventions with fucking sitting members of Congress. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Just before introducing his special guest, Congresswoman Greene.
The crowd was packed. The crowd was packed. It was full of fucking people. The only reason why it wasn't bigger was because it was in a ballroom, I think at a motel, at a hotel. But no, it's packed. No, there are a fuck ton of people. Absolutely fucking tons of people love this shit.
And you want to know the secret? To borrow a phrase from a friend of mine, our secret sauce here, it's these young white men. That's what we call the secret ingredient. America and the world has forgotten about them, but not us. You know, they say about America, they say, diversity is our strength, you know. And I look at China and I look at Russia. Can we give a round of applause for Russia?
Yeah, absolutely. He's following in line. And so, you know how I previously, I'm not on this video, but on the stream, I was talking about the line. And there is a line of talking points and propaganda pushed by very specific parties and political parties. There's also a line for the far right as well. And standing for Russia and China is a huge fucking thing for them now. Huge. In fact, I have a video coming out as soon as it's not locked out of monetization about Paul Joseph Watson standing for fucking China. Why? Because China is racist.
Yes.
Yes, the secret ingredient is mayonnaise. Yes. Unflavored mayonnaise. None of that spicy chipotle stuff. That's sauce mixing.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the podium that Marjorie Taylor Greene then appeared at. And today, she started feeling the heat. She tried to pretend she had no idea who the white supremacist guy was or what he stood for. But you can see from her speech, right after his, that she knew exactly where she was.
You know what it's like to be canceled. And that's why I'm here to talk to you tonight. I don't believe anyone should be canceled. I don't believe in separating people in identities. I don't believe in separating people in classes. But that's what the Democrats believe in because that's what Marxism is. That's what communism is.
Wow.
Remember
everything I don't like is Marxism and communism. Okay.
The conservative movement are now, well, they have been for a while, but at this place explicitly normalizing white supremacy. They're in a venue with the leader expressing explicit solidarity with Vladimir Putin as he launches an offense that has shocked the world's conscience.
True.
At the same time, and this is a sort of weird aspect of the ideological moment, many Republicans, conservatives are seeing, well, this is all Joe Biden's fault. It wouldn't have happened.
What? I've kind of sort of seen a little bit of that. This video is not really about that situation. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, let's let him wrap it up real quick.
On Donald Trump's watch. And here's the thing. They're probably right. That's next.
All right. So, yes, and this is important to point out. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been talking about a national divorce for a while now, which national divorce is a code word, more or less, for a civil war, which is what she went on to Tim Pool's channel to talk about, and talk about a lot. She did. And so there's like a lot of people who want to make these very specific distinctions where America First and Nicholas Fuentes are very much separate from other right-wing commentators like, say, Tim Pool. But they're not. They're not. Because a lot of these fucking lines are equally shared. The crossover is very, very real. And I guarantee you this, the only reason why Tim Pool won't have fucking Nick Fuentes on, optics. That's it. Optics. So anyway, after she got the heat, let's see. Marjorie Taylor Greene made a Twitter thread, and we're going to go through it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm not lined up. Motherfucker. Let's go. Whoop. That'll work. Okay. Being truly America first means rejecting the Democrat obsession with skin color, sexuality, and gender. It means having the courage to stop agonizing over fake divisions and disingenuous allegations from our godless and gutless mainstream media. Let's watch the video.
Many of you in this room knows exactly what that feels like because you know what it's like to be canceled.
Oh.
And that's why I'm here to talk to you tonight. I don't believe anyone should be canceled. I don't believe in
I got canceled, so I decided to go and hang out with a bunch of white nationalists. Oh, okay, sure.
separating people and identities. I don't believe in separating people in classes. But that's what the Democrats believe in because that's what Marxism is. That's what communism is. And I know it's hard to comprehend, but in China, they separate people by class. And the Democrats have learned that very same trick, and they're trying to do the same thing to all of us here in America and separate us by identity. Well, I reject identity politics because there's one thing I know. It doesn't matter what your skin color is or any of these choices.
I reject identity politics, except when it comes to everybody who is not on my side is a communist, Marxist, blah 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 blah. Yeah. You're doing the culture war wrong, Marge. But she's such a fucking brain dead boomer. I'm not really surprised. You know, it's like it's fascinating to try and like figure out what exactly is going on with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Is she an idiot? Is she actually an idiot by doing these things like totally on accident? Or is she like this very, very savvy and knows exactly which direction because she's tanking her political career right now. But I have a feeling she already knows that it's pretty much tanked. Is she doing this because she's going to like switch over into a different kind of catering grift to a different group of people? Like I don't know. It's interesting. It's hard to say, man. Or she just has like people that she listens to because she is a brain dead idiot and they're like holding her hand and walking her into a meat grinder. That might be it.
And all of these things that are said, it matters who you are as a person, it matters who you are in your character, and it matters how you treat other people and the type of life you live. And so we have to stand together as Americans. We have to stand together as Americans and make sure that our government and our hard-earned tax dollars, because believe me, it takes a lot of hard work to earn money, that all of that money is serving our country, not serving foreign country, building bridges and roads and schools, but it is working for our country, securing our border, bringing our jobs back home, and making sure that our people are being taken care of. And then lastly,
Our people. You're speaking at a white nationalist convention there, Marge. Marge. God. I can't even believe that people still, like, make the southern border, like, a talking point. I mean, does anybody actually believe that? Does anybody actually, like, legitimately have a grievance that they can point out? Like, oh, they're letting too many Mexicans in. Well, the illegal immigration numbers are down, actually, and they're good for our economy, actually, and they represent a much smaller block of, like, you know, unrest in the country than the people who were here before. So why? It's entirely fucking. Look, either one of two things happens. And somebody's like obsessed with the fucking border. Either one, they don't know. They don't know because they're just fed this kind of shit. Or two, they're actually fucking racist. But I like to assume that people just don't know. They don't understand that.
we have to do is we have to make sure that this young generation that is facing such a critical time, a time like never before in our American history, that you all have a future. And that's something that really matters to me. Many of you.
She needs to maintain a future for the children. Our people. The children. We must secure their existence. We're going to focus on people, not labels. We're going to focus on protecting the nuclear family, our border, our jobs, our children, saving this great nation from the jaws of the Biden catastrophe. Most importantly, I'm proudly proclaiming the greatness of our God. Our God. We're not going to be deterred by journalists and Washington insiders who fear the name of our Lord and relentlessly attack those of us who proclaim his name. We know that Christ is our only judge. Spooky monarchism kind of shit. Not monarchism, theocratic, theocracy kind of shit. My brain is melting. I'm watching Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's going to melt. Jesus was a friend to sinners. We are called to follow his example. That's why I will continue to share my message of unity, family, and faith in a great nation. Blah, blah, blah. This is a fascinating one. The Pharisees in the Republican Party may attack me for being willing to break barriers and speak to a lost generation of young people who are desperate for love and leadership. But I won't abandon these young men and women because I believe we need to do better by them. Very, very fascinating to use the term Pharisees when going to a white nationalist convention that routinely their leader discounts and makes jokes about the fucking Holocaust and talks about how the Jews have too much power. Little sus there, Marge. Little sus. And again, is she just stupid and she doesn't know that that's a bad fucking look? Or is she, like, signaling? How is it? How do we tell? How do we fucking tell? You know what I mean? It's weird. I won't cancel others. Shut the fuck up. Keep speaking against identity politics and Marxism, blah, blah, blah. No one is fooled by the name calling. Everyone's sick of the hypocrisy, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so to her credit, I'm not a big fan, but to her credit, Liz Cheney spoke out. Marjorie Taylor Greene now using her official USG congressional account to promote anti-Semitic, white supremacist, pro-Hitler, pro-Putin conference. This is a toxin in the bloodstream of America. It must stop. House GOP leaders, have you lost all sense of decency? And I gotta agree with Liz. I really do. It's what I keep coming back to. My right-wing conservative Republican friendos. I'm really sorry that this is happening. And, you know, like, you should probably ask, you know, unless it's one of the dickheads, your leaders to maybe do something about this, you know? Like a lot of these fucking wingnuts have already gotten their seats stripped. They're not on any committees or anything like that. Which is part of the process. It's part of the democratic process. It's how our fucking country works. But there's more that they could do. They could outright condemn this kind of stuff. And they should. They fucking should. The viewpoints of America First are anti-American. 100%. Anyway, one more thing. This was Marjorie Taylor Greene getting questioned by CBS right after. I think this is like the day after she went and did that talk at America First. I think. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm not gonna blast your. Okay.
I have got to get to the airport, but I'm glad to talk to you about this. I do not know Nick Fuentes. I've never heard him speak. I've never seen a video. I don't know what his views are, so I'm not aligned with any.
I just accidentally stumbled into the white nationalist convention. Oopsie. And that's how I knew to talk about exactly what they were talking about. Whoopsie doopsie, oopsie poopsie. And to talk about a lost generation of disaffected young men, I just didn't have any idea. I fucking Mr. Magoo'd my way into that fucking place.
Thing that may be controversial. What I can tell you is I went to his event last night to address his very large following, because that is it's a very young following, and it's a generation I'm extremely concerned about.
It's a white nationalist group.
Excuse me a minute. I'll tell you exactly why I went. I went to talk to them about America First policies.
America First policies is white nationalist. It's fucking white nationalist. That's the thing. That's the thing. Dude, it's like fucking Kekistan back in the day. We made Kekistan, and it was supposed to be about jokes and not getting, like, fucked over for jokes. And then it got flooded with fucking Nazis. And now nobody looks at Kekistan and thinks, it's about, like, silly memes and jokes. And, like, don't be a normie and judge me for my jokes. Nobody thinks that anymore. Just like America First is not. It's not what they want it to be claimed as. And at this point, she knows. She has to know. They all have to know. But they don't care. They don't care. Because they're going to bank on the fact that most people are not going to know what a fucking monolith this actual movement is. And so whether it's a dog whistle that they participate in, or they just simply don't give a fuck, but they know. They are complicit in it, 100%.
And I talked to them about what's important for our country going forward. Now, in regards to Russia, Putin is a murderer, and he should have never invaded Ukraine. What he is doing is completely wrong. I stand with our NATO member allies, and I'm completely against this war.
It's a white nationalist
Excuse
group.
me, I'm going to finish. Everything that he's doing is wrong. He's killing people over and over. So I'm staunchly against it, and I'm staunchly against Vladimir Putin and his invasion of Ukraine. Another thing that is extremely important for me to say is the whole reason this is happening is because Joe Biden is a...
Yeah. I don't want to talk about the fact that I was at a white nationalist convention. So instead, let's talk about Putin, because it doesn't mean anything for me to say I don't like him. And also, everything is Joe Biden's fault.
A weak president. Now America is a weak country, and our entire world is falling apart, and we're seeing war erupt, which did not happen under President Trump because we had peace.
We were literally at war the entire time. The entire time that Trump was in office, we were at war. We were at war. Do you know who's not at war right now? Us. That's weird. Isn't that weird? I mean, we're still like doing stupid, shady, terrible shit, but it's not war. We're not at war. But we were at war the entire time that Trump was.
Peace through strength. So this is something that we've got to really focus on, and I'm appalled at our country for putting America last this way, making us depend on China.
Oh, I know. She wants to stand for Ukraine, but her favorite fucking president, extorted Ukraine and denied them fucking weapons. Yeah, I know. But this whole thing is just her to distract away from the fact that she was at a white nationalist convention.
Russia and foreign countries for our critical supplies and our energy.
Do you endorse Nick Fuentes' views?
Excuse me. I don't know what his views are. I've never...
He's a white nationalist.
I do not endorse those views. The reason why I went was to talk to the audience, just like I've talked to many different audiences. I've talked to Democrat union workers earlier this week. I've talked here at CPAC. I talked to his people who were there. It wasn't an alignment. It was to talk about getting everyone together to save our country. And I think that's what's
Could I ask,
most
why did you take the stage, though?
An appearance is an
After you said that
endorsement.
Young white men with the secret sauce.
Yeah. Look, the simple fact of the matter is, like, what they said is very, very true. You go to a very specific political fucking convention. Let's get her fucking finger up there. You You go to a very, very specific political convention with very specific political fucking views. You get on stage and you give them a fucking speech. That is an endorsement of that convention. And if that convention is explicitly white fucking nationalist, you have signed up with that shit. You can later say, well, I don't believe in that. Then why were you there? Well, I don't know. I just whoops. And if that's the case, and this is really what it comes down to, it is entirely possible that Marge did not know, that everyone on her staff did not know. Impossible. There's no fucking way that at least somebody on her staff knew what it was, and probably all of them knew, and probably so did she. But let's steelman the argument. Marge here just didn't quite understand, that there was going to be a lot of white nationalists at that convention, okay? And she just accidentally found herself there. If she's such a dumb-ass motherfucker that she finds herself wandering in like some fucking brain-dead animal to then go and squawk parroted fucking talking points, then she is so fucking stupid, there's no reason she should be in government. No reason at all. Like, the thing is, some people said, like, we need to fucking have an IQ test to be able to serve in public office. I don't agree. I think that's fucked up and honestly kind of offensive in a weird way. But at least there should be, like, a coloring test, right? Like, they give you a crayon and like a drawing of like a turtle, and you need to color in and not go over the lines. And if you can do that, like, whatever, it's fine. But if you can't, you cannot serve public office. If we at least did that bare minimum, this dumb bitch would not be fucking serving in office, okay? Holy shit. This is the world we fucking live in. This is the fucking world we live in. It is beyond parody. Wow.